Hello, welcome to First Thoughts, our podcast mini-series where we cover current events and films. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Caleb Leger.
And today's fare is arguably the most ridiculous movie of the year, bar none, Fast X, or Fast 10, as Vin apparently wants us to say. Holy shit. The bar has been set repeatedly for this franchise for just over-the-top, ridiculous sci-fi level nonsense at this point. But this one takes the goddamn cake. I mean, I didn't know that apparently, like, Latin dudes aren't flammable. That's new.
And can lift the car with one hand.
Can lift a car with one hand. The second time Vin Diesel has done that in this franchise. Remember in, I think it was 9, where he like fucking catches a car?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're working with now. The basically all logic and realism has just, gone out the fucking window. And now we're just playing in this insane sandbox. It feels more like a kid with Hot Wheels cars making shit up as he goes along.
Look, I championed big time when like Fast 5 came out and they just embraced this. Like, let's just be ridiculous and over the top. Cool. I was down for it. That initial like trilogy of 5, 6, and 7, I really enjoyed. As ridiculous and over the top as they got. But around the time, Paul Walker passed away and this franchise kept going, and obviously the beef with Vin Diesel and The Rock and all this shit going on. And it's just felt, especially with these last two, because I'm kind of a defender of the 8th film, even though, yes, I know someone where The Rock pushes a fucking missile away, redirects a missile, but fuck it. Like, why not at that point? I don't know what it is about this one and the last one. I just couldn't, like, get into it. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, how you can go to a point where it's too much. Like, they cross the line where I'm just like, okay, Jesus fucking Christ, guys. Vin Diesel, you cannot lift a car with one hand. Can characters just stay fucking dead? Like, what are we doing with this repeating plot? Like, I have a lot of grievances at this point with this series.
So before we go too far, I do just want to throw out the blanket statement. Obviously massive spoilers to be expected here, but you clicked on it. You had to have expected us to talk about plot points. So I'm not going to feel that bad if we ruin the movie for you. I have pinpointed the problem, and I never would have thought this, but the best movies in this franchise are the ones where The Rock is front and center. 5, 6, 7, and 8, and Hobbs and Shaw. Don't forget that. Those are the good ones. Because he knows what this is. Dwayne Johnson, despite his faults, despite his obsession with Black Adam, that pretty much like broke him a little last year. When it comes to Luke Hobbs, that sumbitch, he is playing a cartoon character. Vin Diesel is playing a real person. Vin Diesel thinks this is like a serious movie. Dwayne is not. He's joking around. He knows this is ridiculous. He rips it in part, what, 7, 8? Yeah, 8. He rips a table out of the wall and starts fucking like doing, what are they called? Bicep curls. Curl ups, yeah. While staring down Jason Statham and saying he's going to beat his ass like a Cherokee drum. He's in his own movie.
Yeah.
It just happens to be inside of Vin Diesel's much worse movie.
Yeah, and I think that's like the big. I think we made that comment on F9. I was like, Vin Diesel takes this franchise way too fucking seriously, and thinks he's like this great actor and blah blah blah. And again, dude, save that shit for Riddick, where I actually kind of give a shit about what you're bringing to the table there. I don't give a shit in a Fast fucking Furious movie. Look, in the racing era, as some people will call it, like the first 4 films, it worked when it, Vin Diesel's serious take on it worked in that era of it because it wasn't trying to be this bombastic thing. It was literally a film about street racing. It was a Point Break ripoff that was successful, and I'll defend the first one. It's a fun movie, flaws and all. Like I have a good time with the first one, and it worked with him and Paul Walker kind of being these two lead characters. They worked very well off each other. And then yes, when you got into the big insane action era of just stunts, and then bringing The Rock into the mix, you understood what this franchise was to the point that he wanted to be as big as he was to represent the over the topness that this was. Yes, say flaws and all, but we'll get into like the whole thing with Black Adam and a certain mid credit tease in this the goddamn new installment. We'll get into that. Don't worry. But when he got on board, that's how much he understood what this fucking was you don't take this seriously. This is just a chance for the audience to go in, turn their brains off, and have a good fucking time. All right. Just enjoy the action. If you can't, and you're that type of person that just can't have some fun, and well, go watch your fucking Oscar drama and then come back to me. No offense, Austin. I know he's not a Fast and Furious fan. That's why I said that.
I don't blame him though. I mean,
And
if
look,
you're if you're seeking out original film, original cinema, these movies are the fucking plague. They're the
yeah,
plague.
this is not it. And look, if you don't, everyone's entitled to what they like, right? Their entire. I'm just saying, like, this is what these films represent. And The Rock represented that in his tenure in the franchise before a certain beef that is now magically resolved happened to the point that, yeah, I remember seeing F9 with it. Yeah, box office dictates people. Seeing F9 with you and being like, immediately thinking like they were taking this too serious. Like clearly Vin Diesel thinks this franchise much more than what it actually is. There's no Rock to be fun. They made John Cena super fucking serious, which I'm not even saying John Cena is like a bad actor as we've seen in Peacemaker, but he has comedic strength out the ass. Like the guy is great when you give him like comedy material to work with.
True, but I think they took it too far with Fasten, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like Jacob Toretto is a completely different character. Like in part 9, he's this like almost sadistic force who wants to destroy everything. He's a terrorist. And now all of a sudden he's the fun uncle. It's like, where did this come from?
You know what's funny? Everyone made comments. They're like, it was always funny. Like the backhand compliment to his role in this new one was, hey, we really like John Cena and his segment with the kid, which I did too. His segments were one of the better segments I enjoyed. And we'll get into the weird structure of this film later, or in a minute, really. But at the same time, yes, it was like the backhanded side of that compliment was, this is not the same character that was in F9. This is a completely different fucking character. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, I like Peacemaker too. But do I want to see him every time John Cena is in a movie? No, not really. That's kind of, I think that's what happened. I think somebody up behind the scenes was like, just do Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, clearly he's in this for the check. Most of the people in this movie are in this for the check. And he's like, all right, sure.
Yeah. Fuck it. Makes my job easy for season 2 getting ready to film. Yeah, and then like look, before we really speaking of these characters, before we really, because I'm gonna give us, we kind of have the same, I think, opinion, which is this movie entertaining? Yes, to an extent. Was it satisfying? Fuck no. Before we kind of dig into all that stuff, one positive I do really want to kind of touch on. I think you might agree with me on this. I think you did agree with me. The one positive I want to bring up in this whole entire film, one human being in this cast who saves this film from being a snooze fest. Jason motherfucking Momoa. I don't know what the hell they told him to bring to this character, but I've never seen a Fast and Furious one with a villain I remembered quite like him. That was so just oozed charisma, oozed charm, oozed like, I was legitimately like, when he wasn't on screen, I was like, yeah, just bring back Momoa. He's like the best thing you got going on in this fucking movie. Bring him back, please.
I think it's crazy that it took 10 movies to get a decent villain out of this franchise. I mean, even Jason Statham in 7, and I'm talking villain who doesn't become family, like a real sadistic bad guy. And now we have one, and he's a nut. He's basically doing Joker, as a cyber terrorist.
Yeah, but it oddly works. Like Momoa commits so hard to this that I was completely entranced anytime he was on screen. Like his little like, and I loved, especially because it's 2023, all the kind of shit going on in certain states. Um, that he purposely paid him as not really that macho, as a very flamboyant, in his words, androgynous type dude. Which you look at Momoa, that is not something you think the man's built like a Samoan because he is. Um, and so you don't think that, but he commits the part. I could feel the air in the theater sometimes during some of his scenes when he was like making jokes about sexual things he wanted to do to Vin Diesel's character to make Dom uncomfortable, and you can kind of feel the air through people going like, "Oh, whoa!" Like I'm thinking like, yeah, keep it up, makes people uncomfortable. Let's have fun with this. There we go, fun with the villain role. Let's go, keep it up. Like I was having such a great time with what he was bringing to the table.
Yeah, I was too, for the most part. I did think there were times where he was trying a little too hard, where it was like no one else is trying, so he's got to like try twice as hard to keep this interesting.
I mean, yeah, when you got your co-star Vin Diesel standing there stoically, not giving you anything, yeah, you got to be the one to be like, "I'm going to show you how to act here, buddy."
Did you count that there are not one but two Aquaman in this movie?
No.
Yeah. We got Momoa, obviously, and then we got Alan Ritchson, Reacher, the CIA like super beefy
Oh,
guy who's like, I'm a bad guy. No, I'm a good guy. No, I'm a worse guy.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
he played Aquaman on Smallville.
I didn't know that. I know he was on Titans, for like the first 2 or 3 seasons of that show. Um,
I didn't realize
uh,
how goddamn huge that dude is. I mean, good
he is
God. I thought he
big.
was a wrestler. I was like, I know that face, but he's not very good at this. But I know that face. It's like TV. That's where I saw him.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I did like one scene I will say that really cracked me up was when he was talking to the dead bodies, when he was like painting their nails and having like a full on conversation with them. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Why did it take like 10 movies to give us like a villain like this in this series?
Well, let's run through some of that. All right. So this is our counting Hobbs and Shaw, which apparently we're the only two people on Earth who do.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
I think we're the only two people that actually consider it one of the better installments in this franchise, if I'm being honest.
yeah. My car doesn't take diesel. Just, it doesn't. Um, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah. Okay. So 11 films, which is insane to me. This is a 20-year franchise with 11 movies. What in the fuck happened? Uh, where did you have you been with this since the beginning? Like, have you just been on
Yeah,
board with it since '01?
yeah, pretty much. I had seen the first one on TV, and it was after I'd seen Pitch Black and was like, "Oh my god, this movie is really cool." And I saw, Triple X was like, "Okay, Vin Diesel was cool." That's when I thought Vin Diesel was cool because of thanks to Pitch Black and Triple X. Which I will stand by those two more so Pitch Black than Triple X. Um, so the first one was at the time playing on TV a lot. Usually, I think it was when Tokyo Drift was out. They were playing like the first two constantly. So I watched the first two on TV, and I liked it. They were entertaining enough movies. I recognized that they were, this was a very blatant Point Break rip off. But hey, it's like I've always said, there's no original ideas in Hollywood anymore. So if you're going to do it, put your voice to it, make it entertaining. I thought that's what the first one did. Like, yes, I understand what it was, but it was entertaining. Um, I thought, and I do tell people like it's fine because it's fine when I try to tell people because if you haven't seen it, you won't get it. But like, I'm like, watch the first one because it's drastically different how Vin Diesel actually acts, like legitimately acts in the first movie. If you've seen clips and gives a performance and has charisma and stuff compared to how he fucking sleepwalks through these movies now. Um,
Well, I mean, like, if you're given 110% as an actor and your movie grosses, let's say, $50 million, it's like, okay, decent hit. But then you don't try that hard and you gross like $500-600 million, you're gonna realize, oh, so clearly I don't have to try that hard to make
but
these successful.
what's crazy is he in his head thinks he's such a great actor. If you listen to interviews, he is like, I am giving my best performance. I'm like, no, motherfucker, watch that first movie that I remember watching, being like, hey, yeah, Vin Diesel, not a bad, not a great actor, but he can give a charismatic performance. And then all of a sudden, here we are on 10. I'm like, you're literally the most boring fucking aspects of this movie, and you're the main star, motherfucker. Um, so yeah, I was kind of, I've been with this since the beginning. It did take me a while to see Fast Five. Because I remember when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I guess we're not racing anymore. So I didn't bother with it. I'm like, guess we're not racing. And everyone around me was like, no, dude, you gotta check it out. Fast Five is really cool. And I watched it with God, an old high school like girlfriend, like way back then, man. And I ended up really liking it and was like, okay, well shit, this is actually really cool. And I honestly, since it's gone to the stunt era, since the heavy action phase, I think I've seen them all in theaters since then.
Yeah, I have. I have not been there since the beginning. I didn't care. Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, and Fast and Furious all came and went without me giving a shit. And then I was bored one day, and I, figured when I'm bored, I go to the movies. And the only thing that was playing was Fast Five, and I thought I like Dwayne Johnson. Let's give this a shot. And so I had no frame of reference. Like I knew that Vin Diesel and Paul Walker were in it. That's all I knew. Like I didn't know the details of the franchise at all. And it got me on board pretty quickly. Fast Five was good. It was, crime lord in Rio, on the run from the feds, some bitch. Like it clicked. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then from there, I saw Fast and Furious 6. I saw Furious 7, Fate of the Furious. I saw F9 with you, Hobbs and Shaw, and Fast 10. I have still not. I saw The Fast and the Furious a long time ago and thought this isn't that good. And I never watched 2 and 3, and then I watched 4, and I also thought this isn't that good. So I still haven't completed this franchise. I was gonna do a big rewatch before I saw 10, and then I just didn't want to. Like I was prepping it, and I'm like, who is this for? Like, what am I gonna do? I really want to stay in this world for 10 movies all at once? And the answer was no.
Well, you clearly don't care about family as much as you thought.
Apparently not. Yeah, I don't live my life a quarter mile at a time.
We all can't do that. Not like Vin Diesel, apparently.
One aspect I do think is very weird about the later films in the franchise. So 2013 or 2015, Paul Walker died.
Yeah, it was like 2014, 20. I was still in, 2014, 2015. I was still in college when it happened.
It had to have been 14 because 7 came out in 15, and they had to, okay, so it was around that time. He's dead. Brian O'Connor, his character, is not. He is still alive, just sitting out these life-changing events from the past 4 movies, just not giving a shit, apparently. And all the bad guys don't want to bother him.
It has bugged me since then that every single film, every single fucking installment since then, is Brian and Mia safe? Yeah, they're hiding away. They're fine. I'm like, because they didn't have the balls to just kill the character off.
Which is so weird. It's not like he's ever coming back. Like, why just keep him alive?
Well, and then
why not start this movie with Dante saying, yeah, I killed Brian and Mia?
Right? Because that's the other thing. Why do they keep putting like Mia into these movies for one obligatory scene and then she disappears for the rest of the movie? I'm like, Jordana Brewster is better than this. Like, can you give her more than just a scene?
All the people who are in danger in this movie, I don't fucking care about. Like Elena's sister and like the other,
you mean
the guy in Rio who blows up? I don't even remember who he was.
You mean that repeating plot point? Because that's what this film does: is repeats plot points of a hidden fucking family member. That, oh god, okay, that bullshit with the how'd you know I could? She smiled with her eyes or with her heart, like you do. I'm like, or maybe she talked about her fucking sister like a regular person, Dom, and you went, oh, okay.
Maybe I saw, I saw a photograph once.
Yeah. That's God, can you imagine if I did that to like my girlfriend's sister one day? How'd you know? I said some weird shit like that. She'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, no, your sister, my girlfriend told me about you and showed me pictures. That's how I know.
Well, real life, is rarely as dramatic as it is in this franchise, you know? I mean, I don't know how many explosions Vin Diesel can just like get engulfed by and walk away from before something finally takes this guy down.
Or he can use he uses his car to cause a cover from to save people from an explosion.
Oh my god, that was the dumbest shit.
I saw that and I was like, okay, we clearly don't care how explosions work in the Fast and Furious world. Like to give her like a brief like for anyone who sees like I do very short, sweet, to the point letterbox reviews, and I felt like this was the most succinct and on the point one I ever made with this particular installment. Was entertaining but not satisfying. The franchise that has peaked a long time ago. I'm looking at you, part 7. Is quite literally eating itself with repeating plot points, characters that won't stay dead. So yeah, I don't feel any amount of like, oh my god, when characters like I'm like they're clearly going to come back somehow, and then Beef's magically getting settled thanks to desperation in a box office. Pretty much describes the movie.
I keep picturing the end of Avengers Endgame where like Thanos is sitting on the bench and he's like, you couldn't live with your failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me. And that's Vin talking to Dwayne after Black Adam tanks and Dwayne needs a win. He's like, Vin's like, fine. Oh, I'm calling the shots. Like, I feel like that conversation happened and Dwayne begrudgingly accepted.
But even Vin Diesel sound desperate when he tried pulling that, Universal supposedly asked me to do a trilogy. And I'm like, okay, who's more desperate? Let's play that game. Vin or Dwayne? Who the fuck is more desperate right now?
Vin announced today he's working on several spin-off movies, including a female-led one. So, like, he is far from done. You're never getting Riddick 4.
No, we're not. And I fucking hate my life.
One thing that really bothered me, the explosion at the Vatican, the bomb. You hear on the news, somebody says like, thankfully there were no casualties. Like the dude nuked like a big chunk of the Vatican. You can't like there are always people in St. Peter's Square. There's no way nobody died from that.
But Dom saved the day.
Like, why don't they just let Dante kill people? Like, he's clearly the bad guy. He's clearly a sadist. Just let him tear through some of these characters. Give us some real stakes.
Okay, and then that's the thing. Let's talk about that, right? So the reason I keep saying no character side, because we don't care about spoilers here. Apparently, since she's no longer Wonder Woman anymore, Gal Gadot fucking pops back up, alive magically.
With a sub, which is impressive.
The sub, I think from part 8, actually.
The sub?
That's what I figured. I was like, there's no way that's not the stuff from part 8. But she's magically alive because also, once again, no longer Wonder Woman. She needs something again. So when you have that happen in a franchise that's already proven to not want to kill characters off, looking at you from Tokyo Drift, Han, looking at you. And really shitty explanations for why they survive. Again, looking at you, Han. How am I supposed to feel when you try to make it seem like John Cena died in that fiery explosion of sacrifice, or they end it where he shoots the plane of his buddies and the plane explodes? Fuck you! I know they're going to survive. I know they're going to magically come back in 11.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, actually, when Gal Gadot emerged from the submarine with no visible scars, despite the fact that she was, pretty much like dragged down a goddamn runway.
Well, they'll find a way to explain it, surely, but go on.
The first thing that popped in my head was, I guess we're seeing John Cena in the next one.
Yeah.
Like there was I didn't feel bad for it. There was no sympathy points. Like somehow he like ejected at the last minute. Or they're gonna have like some CIA robot dog with John Cena's brain in it or some shit. Because now you can do whatever you want. Yeah, CIA equals cool, impossible to explain sci-fi tech to these people.
Yeah, I will say even remember Luke Evans, the villain for fucking 6 or whatever. Like he had what looked to be a definite death and popped the fuck back up. alive and well, and I'm like, Jesus
Which is
Christ.
weird. It didn't really motivate Deckard Shaw that much in Seven to like really go after Dom's family. He's like, oh my God, you kind of hurt my brother. I'm gonna kill all of you. And then it's like, oh no, he didn't really kill Hans, and now he gets to be a real good guy. Like,
Yeah. Oh, God, power of family in this film is fucking strong.
so I guess Vince is it, right? He's the only member of the family who's stayed dead.
Yeah, yeah. Vince is the only one that actually died.
Explosions, nothing. Car accidents, nothing. A couple bullets to the chest, fatal. That's the weakness. Family cannot stand up to a couple of well-placed bullets.
Well, no, because Letty got shot and survived.
Yeah, but there was also a car accident involved, so she lived.
Oh, she got her power from the
Yeah.
car accident.
You see, when you mate with a man like Vin Diesel, the diesel power is transferred somewhat to you and makes you invulnerable to car crashes. Those are the rules. That's how I've explained this to myself.
You mate with Diesel. You're disgusting.
They almost boned in this one, and I was like, I don't want to see that.
No, I
Like,
don't know that.
she's gonna have that just sweaty, bald tank topped thing on top of her.
Rumble grunting his way to the finish line.
You think he yells "I am Groot" when he climaxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to think
We're
of
not
like,
talking about Dom Toretto anymore. We're talking about Vin Diesel.
yeah. And if she ever asked him to bring up Riddick, he's like, we don't talk about that.
Immediate, like, just, flaccid. But Riddick's a boner killer to him because all that means is work.
Yeah. Right. I think that's why he doesn't like doing it. Is he has to actually still act. He has to try for that
His
one.
work. This is a 20-year fucking vacation he's been on where he's been making crazy amounts of money and not having to do much in front of the camera. Why is he going to give that up?
Exactly. He's going to do spinoffs, and I don't think we're going to get a trilogy. I think he was trying to like drum shit up, and if we do, it's going to be the worst fucking ending because you didn't plan for it. And I'm going to say right now, before we talk about this mid-credit scene bullshit, I hated the ending. I hated how this film ended. They clearly don't know how to do a part 1 and a part 2.
Well, now apparently they're going to take a late stage Hobbit franchise page, and this is a part 1, part 2, sudden part 3 that no one was preparing for.
Yeah, as in this is going to be they're going to shit the bed on this ending in a non-good way. If there's even a good way to shit the bed. But no, I just look, guys. You want a gold standard for how to do your part 1 and your part 2s? Infinity War and fucking Endgame. Give me a full, complete fucking story. And then end it. Don't end it in the middle of a fucking scene. Even Pirates like 2 and 3, when they were like, oh shit, we want to do a trilogy, so they kind of filmed back to back, they found a logical point in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 to end it and say, okay, the story for 2 is done. Things are set up for 3. End.
Well,
great way to.
With this one, also, it's 2.5 hours long. So Statham's whole subplot is completely unnecessary. We don't need him. He's not even he's in the movie all of 2 minutes.
The whole film is set up. As soon as it ended, I literally sat and went, this whole film was set up for the next one. That's all it was. Everyone's separated. You don't ever, aside from like the beginning, no one in this cast and crew interacts with each other for extended periods of time. It is all separate group plot lines going on at once.
There's a completely ridiculous Pete Davidson cameo that amounts to absolutely nothing. The whole like Tyrese and his money gag, like, can we just kill him? Can we just kill Roman? Was he like when he got introduced in Too Fast, Too Furious, was he like someone to be feared or respected or something?
No, he was literally a friend of Paul Walker's character, Brian O'Connor, that they were like enemies for a bit because of something that happened. He betrayed them, so they were against each other, and they became besties again. That's why he stayed on.
Was he like a super goofball?
Yes.
Okay. It felt like they've been like, I don't know, crunching him into a diamond to the point where he's like just nothing but comic relief. But if
I
he's
mean,
always comic relief, then all right.
yeah, he's always been comic relief. And look, it's Tyrese Gibson. The guy doesn't have a career outside Fast and Furious. Don't feel bad about that statement at all. Um,
He totally thinks he does though. He keeps trying to make beefs with much bigger actors, and it never
yeah,
works.
he doesn't. He doesn't have anything outside Fast and Furious. He tried doing the whole like I stand with Vin Diesel doing the Paul Walker Vin Diesel beef, and it's like okay, dude, like the Rock's going to beat your ass. Like, how's that sound? And yeah, to me, he's always been hit and miss. Like sometimes I do laugh at some of his jokes. I do find some of them pretty funny, but then sometimes I'm like, this isn't that funny. Like it's not landing. Like the whole thing in F9 when you kept making the jokes about them being invincible. I was like, this is stupid. It's not funny. You're trying to be meta without being meta. Like you're not fully committing to it, and this is dumb. This is not funny. And I didn't really think most of the jokes he was saying in this one were funny. I wasn't really laughing.
Yeah, neither was I. It was padding, which we didn't need. It was this a long ass movie. But
Yeah, because it was all set up.
yeah. I think honestly, the easiest way to fix this is kill some main characters, like for good. That's the easiest way to fix this. Suddenly we've got real stakes, we've got a real villain we can be afraid of, and there we go. Now there's something to do. But no, every time a car explodes, people just walk out of it.
Yeah, and then and this is why I kind of look for those you've already seen the movie. You're listening to this. I hope the reason I really fucking despise like the ending to this movie, okay, is because like we're talking about literally a character that we thought was dead, but because Wonder Woman's no more, she's back somehow. After we already had the bullshit Han explanation for right, he's back. You're trying to make me. You literally in the film where like they do. You see, it's in the trailer when the fucking semis plow into each other, and Dom goes down the fucking dam with. I kid you not, in slow mo. By the way, fire engulfing him, his son, and his car, and he is calmly turning NOS on, or his son's calmly also just sitting there with fire just surrounding him, um, and they just fly on out of it into the fucking water, right? And then they survive, obviously, because it's fucking Fast and Furious. And Dante, Jason Momoa's character goes, "Oh, you think you survived that or whatever, but I have another surprise for you." And you come to find out he has bombs placed along the fucking dam. Turns the bombs on. The movie literally cuts from that scene, gives you the quick little thing with the Wonder Woman lady, and then goes to black and credits roll. That's the end of the fucking movie. That's why I say it's a shitty ending. It is not a here's a complete story. It's and halfway point. Okay, wait 2 years to see what happens. I know he's going to fucking survive. I know he is.
Two things. One, my favorite moment of that final scene with Vin and the dam is when he and his son take a brief moment to mourn the car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They hug like, oh, we lost someone. That's the big death the movie gives us is the goddamn car.
After that stupid line, you forgot to take one thing from me. My car. Oh God.
What's dumber, that or that's the thing about street fights? The street always wins. I don't know. There's contenders for dumbest line. Yeah.
Mine's way too seriously and they're dumb unless it's said by The Rock. Go on.
Yeah, you're right. So these characters started as, LA street racers, raised on the streets. They didn't have any formal Krav Maga, black belt training or any of that. So at what point did Letty become a fucking martial arts master?
I don't know.
They all can fight like they've been training their whole lives.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's also amazing Michelle Rodriguez's dumbass comment about there's too many Marvel movies. As she is at the premiere for
Did she say that?
Fast 10, yes.
Oh, God.
I think there's too many Marvel movies. Yeah, bitch, you're at the fucking premiere for Fast 10. So yeah. what right did you get
all of these?
Yes.
God damn.
Are you mad you're not getting a sequel to Dungeons and Dragons? I did actually quite enjoy that movie.
We're not getting a sequel?
I mean, we might get a sequel. They haven't confirmed anything.
Oh, okay. Well, at the
It wasn't
moment,
a huge
it's
box
gonna get
office hit. Yeah, it wasn't a huge box office hit. Admittedly, this has been kind of a crowded year because it's summer blockbuster season back in full swing.
nothing. We either have too much or too little. We can never have a nice balance of releases. Give stuff time to breathe, time to gestate, and then move on to the next one. We can't do that anymore. I
No.
mean, Fast X is going to get destroyed by the Little Mermaid. So, and then the Little Mermaid's going to get destroyed by whatever comes out the following week.
Oh yeah, June is fucking. I'm already like slowly getting tickets in advance for stuff that goes on sale, so I can get good seats. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Charlize Theron, I don't know why they keep bringing her back. Like, can we just kill Cypher already?
I don't understand her character coming back constantly.
And always shifting allegiances, but we know she's only in it for herself. There's no. Is she going to be at the goddamn barbecue in 11? All is forgiven, even though she killed the kid's mother like right in front of him.
Who fucking knows what that one nowadays? I don't know anymore.
Is Elena gonna pop behind a corner in
Yeah,
the next one and be like,
is
I'm
Elena
here?
is Elena even actually dead? Apparently, she has a sister that she's just never told Dom about.
Is sister gonna take like her Mission Impossible style mask off and it's actually Elena?
Yeah, that's why she smiles with her heart.
Ugh. I find it funny that Kurt Russell like didn't want to do this one or something.
Yeah. Oh, the last couple ones, he hasn't been in it for a minute.
Was he not in 9? I
He was
honestly
not
do
in
not
9.
remember 9 very well.
He was in a 9. Yeah, he was in 8, but he wasn't in 9.
Okay. Yeah, we saw 9 in the midst of a giant ass heat wave, and I don't have a lot of memory of the
And
stuff we watched
yeah,
that week.
neither one of us even really liked 9. So
Yeah.
I think it's funny, like the buildup of Diesel's character, right? Like this, like, and Cena says it. Well, your brother casts my brother casts a big shadow, and I'm like, does is this like a massive like ego stroke for Diesel? Is he like jerking himself off to these lines of dialogue of like, yeah, I'm such an important character in these movies, yeah,
Dom Toretto is a
dude,
street racer whose sole personality trait is that he drinks Corona. Like that is it. Where's the shadow?
yeah, you're
Isn't
not that
like
cool.
Jacob like a trained black ops soldier? Like
Yes,
and you're quite bigger than Vin and charismatic. So like I don't see the shadow here.
I don't get it. It's literally the most obvious like ego stroking like dialogue that they give to make Vin Diesel feel good about himself.
Yeah.
When I like John Cena better, and as we saw, he was kicking those mercenaries' ass in the house.
When there was a punch in the kitchen, I thought like, oh, is Paul Walker gonna be fighting them off screen? Like that's what I thought they were gonna do. Like he was gonna throw car keys at Mia from the kitchen or something.
Oh no, dude! As soon as like, just the trailer, didn't hide anything at all. I was like, oh, okay, John Cena. This is how he pops up, and sure enough, John Cena popped up. I was like, oh, there he is. I did get a kick when he like launched that one dude through the floor and then just hopped down. I was like, okay, that was cool. But again, like the John Cena segments, I enjoyed for the most part. Those segments were cool. Anytime Momoa was on screen, I was having a good time. Everything else, I was just kind of like, I was just mentally checked out. Just like, yep.
I remember thinking there are 4 Oscar-winning actors in this movie. What are you doing here? You're too good for this.
Look, why does Helen Mirren and Vin Diesel have like the strongest sexual chemistry I've seen using off the screen? It's creepy.
Why is Shaw's mother constantly giving advice and like tenderness to Toretto? Like where's the connection there? Didn't he try to kill both of her kids?
Apparently she wants to fuck his brains out.
I don't know. Why is Marita Moreno here? Like, are you kidding me?
One scene for some reason.
Yeah, we need to meet great grandma. Okay, fine. And then yeah, Brie Larson just cashing that check as fast as she can. Cranking it out between Marvels.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And basically Mr. Nobody's daughter, which again, there was no surprises because this movie went out of its way to spoil every goddamn. I don't know if like Universal saw this movie and went, spoil everything, get butts in seat, let's go. Because like they revealed before it came out, oh yeah, she's playing Mr. Nobody's daughter. And I was like, man, guys, keep some fucking secrets before these films come out. How's that sound?
You know what I discovered recently or rediscovered? the greatest teaser trailer ever made. It was for 2015's Ant-Man, and it was Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas just ham
Oh, yeah.
boning and saying ants. It was about 20 seconds long. We need more of that in terms of trailers. Like, I want more of just like this. The trailer for Fast X, the 10th film in a reliably profitable franchise. The trailer could have just been like Vin driving up in a car and be like, fast 10 your seatbelts or some shit like that. And then he just drives away.
Yeah, people were so gone because it was a success the weekend it came out. I even saw its budget and was like, holy shit, $340 million budget. What the fuck? And
Right? I was
it damn near made it back. And we kind of contributed to that.
Yeah, we're at 318 right now, and it's gonna make it. It's gonna make it.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much I'm like, Vin Diesel, that egotistical, he cost that much to put in a movie now. It was Fast and Furious.
God. Well, every other, I mean, all right, so we've got, we got this weird part, this weird exception to the rule with the Riddick franchise. But then we got Fast and Furious, and then we got Guardians of the Galaxy. Every other venture he has tried has failed spectacularly. The Triple X movies, no. There was The Last Witch Hunter. There was Babylon AD. There was Bloodshot. Nothing's taken. We don't like Vin unless he's in a goddamn car or a tree.
And the true fans like myself like him with no eyes that can see properly, but he hates us. He fucking hates us so much.
Oh, it's actually kind of funny just going through Vin Diesel's filmography and seeing how many failed franchises he's got under his belt.
Dude, so many. He tries so much. It okay because I know before we run out of time here.
Yeah,
let's talk about this mid credit scene. Let's discuss this bullshit. So quick rundown for those who won't keeping track of this whole real life shit with The Rock and Vin Diesel.
real quick rundown. Nice pun, unintended. Nice rock pun there.
Thank you.
What was the game plan? What was the game plan? Continue.
Neither one of them is walking tall anymore.
This franchise is doomed without him.
Oh Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm done. But look, so shortly after around like the 7th film after release, The Rock made a comment about candy asses being late. I'm paraphrasing heavily what he actually said, but candy asses and being late was in that statement. It was heavily implied he was talking about Vin Diesel holding up, I guess, like the fight scene in like Fast 5 and numerous other times they were filming a Fast and Furious film together. And apparently this beef got so bad, actors were taking sides that in the Fate of the Furious, they filmed all their scenes separately. So all that shit with them in it together was like edited in post production magic. That's how bad it got. After Fast and Furious 8, The Rock made it quite known he will never return to the Fast and Furious franchise. He was done. He is moving on. Vin Diesel, of course, as the years went on, especially with this upcoming one, kept trying to like, come on, Dwayne, it's family. Let the beef go. Come back. Finish the installment. The fans want to see you in the conclusion. I do a much better like charismatic Vin Diesel performance than he does with his own fucking movies.
You're a little too easy to understand, but other than that, pretty good.
Thank you. But so fast forward, that's the overall beef between those two, right? So there's a lot of people may not, if you don't remember, last year, a little movie by the name of Black Adam came out.
Little being the operative word here.
The Rock's passion project for well over a decade. The one that was going to change the hierarchy of the DC cinematic universe. He was pumping this thing out. He was like ready to go. He was going to be the head honcho of DC, and it came out, and it was a wet fart at the box office.
Oh, wow. Way to just belittle like 11 years of work. Way to go. I appreciate that.
Don't mention it. Look, and by all means, I want this to be known right now. I will not be loyal to any of the crew members of that film or any of the other cast members but the fucking Rock. I don't care what Dwayne Johnson does to me. He doesn't even know who I am.
He will.
He'll find this and hunt me down.
I'll be
Then
ready to podcast with you next week. We'll go on Zoom. You won't be there, but he will.
yeah, I'll be smelling what the Rock's cooking. I know my history with the Rock and his filmography and wrestling. But the movie barely broke even. I mean, barely broke even. Black Adam absolutely did not get a sequel, all that good stuff. The Rock did not handle this with grace, to say the least. He went down a psychotic route of it's not about the box office, about what the fans think, and apparently he was lying about numbers to WB. That there's stories about that coming out. He lied to fucking Henry Cavill about bringing him back to be Superman when WB was not on board with that. Like a whole lot of shit came out. He kind of lost it there for a second. And we're all thinking, holy shit, are we seeing the Dwayne Johnson, like the Rock, implode before our very eyes? Keep that all in mind. Okay, let's fast forward to now, this weekend that just passed us. Fast X comes out. I'm condensing a lot of this down, folks. Trust me. Fast X comes out. We get to the mid-credit scene. And as I'm watching this mid-credit scene in the theater, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, Kurt Russell's clearly not coming back. Who the fuck's this guy? I'm like, don't be The Rock. It's going to be the fucking Rock, isn't it?
You're not going to do a mid-credit scene for Kurt Russell for Fast and Furious.
Yeah, no.
The only one that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like, it's going to be the fucking... And as soon as the phone started playing and Momoa's character starts doing his suffering that he says like 1,000 fucking times in this movie, I'm like, it's the fucking Rock. And sure enough, he takes the mask off and there's Dwayne Johnson with the goatee once again, but gray because he's in his 50s. Going, well, I'm right here, you some bitch, and breaks the phone. This should be an exciting moment. Should be. Like, holy shit. But keep all that history in mind. I can't get excited knowing what I know about like Black Adam and their beef. Because all it reeks of is I need box office success. So I'm going to go begrudgingly make up to Vin and get my ass into this movie so I can get my audience back after the shit that happened with Black Adam.
Unless this was all one giant ass long con to subvert our expectations.
I highly doubt it. I don't think either one's that smart. Based off what we saw, how Rock reacted to Black Adam and just Vin Diesel's, I believe, extremely big time lack of intelligence. No, I don't believe that. I'll insult these two all day. It's fine.
I gotta say though, I did get very excited. As soon as I recognized the hulking biceps, I was like, well, obviously, this man cannot hide in a crowd. I know who this is. And the whole movie, I was thinking like, yeah, Dom and everybody, took your dad's money, but Hobbs put a bullet in his head. Are we not going to address that? But yeah, we are. That's a big deal. And then, it was nice to see, like I said, the best movies of this franchise were the ones that The Rock was in. So the fact that we're getting him again tells me like, hey, maybe this next one will actually be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the possibility of him, yes, bringing it back, understanding this franchise, I'm excited to see him in part 11 to an extent. It's just because of all the shit that's gone down in real life. It's like, it's hard for me to get excited because I'm like, dude, is your heart actually in this to come back and give us this character that I do generally really enjoy and be a more entertaining aspect to these movies? Or are you just doing this because you need a fucking win right now?
Well, the thing is, this is Hollywood. Nobody there is a saint. Nobody there is doing it for us. They're all in it to make a buck. It's just, how is that buck going to be made? So I don't care. We, The Rock not having any scruples. Like, really, are we surprised? I mean, come on. So I'm in. I don't care.
I'm kidding. I mean, look, I'm going to watch 11 in the theaters. So I'm a fucking idiot. But I'm just saying, like, I just remember going, oh, okay, cool. Beefs get settled when you need that box office win, huh, Dwayne?
I was like, 11's gonna be good.
Hopefully.
Because now we've got the guy who flexed off a cast, pushed a missile out of the way, and yeah, he's kind of, he's a cartoon character. It's like if the Hulk was a cop. we've got Luke Hobbs.
Honestly, one of my favorite moments. It was a small moment. Was when he shoots the fucking vending machine, and Roman kept trying to get food from the vending machine because he needed a quarter, and he just shoots the shit out of it.
Nothing will ever top the "I'm gonna beat your ass like a Cherokee drum." That's one of my favorite movie lines of all time.
That was good. Yeah. What was it when he said the oh god it was like it being like an improv line when he says like hey, hide all your baby oil, and then The Rock improv that line, and so Ludacris's reaction to choking on the beer was like genuine.
You better hide that big ass forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he again, it's because he knows what this is. It's a live action cartoon, and Dwayne is playing it as a live action cartoon.
Yeah.
So with that, bring it on. I want to see
Well,
him. Yeah, he's
and that's
gonna
why I
like,
say
beat the shit out of Dante, and it's gonna be hilarious.
that's why I say I think I will be more excited with 11. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm just kind of like because of all the stuff that's gone down. I'm just like I'm not that excited, dude. Like I
Well,
need
we've had 2 week ones in a row, so that's also kind of disparaging.
Yeah, and so I think that's why to me between that and between kind of shit that's gone down in real life, I'm like I'm not that excited for this mid credit scene. Give me 2 years removed because I think the next one's for some weird reason this finale they're trying to fucking stretch is not slated to come out until 2025. 2 years removed, I see a trailer and it looks like The Rock is like bringing this character back regardless of his reasoning for coming back. Okay, you got me on board. I'm excited. Let's see him go because I do think you give me what The Rock brings to this franchise with Momoa and what he already brought to this franchise. Give me 11 with these two going at it. I could, you know what? Shove Vin Diesel, kill Vin Diesel's character off. Kill it off. Him and his son. Kill little Brian off. I don't
Dude,
care.
if 11 opens with like Vin and the kid being smothered by the dam and everybody in the plane was dead and everyone who's left takes on Dante, best movie ever.
Dude, give me that fucking Hobbs and Shaw pair up because Vin Statham and Rock were fucking great together. Give
I
me
want to
those
see
two going
I
after
want to
Dante.
see like the final fight is like, Hobbs versus Dante. They're fighting, it's getting a little wrestly. And then who should pop in but John Cena? And just, I don't know, like wrestle style, you can't see me, motherfucker. Like that would be
I
great.
would love if when he does it, he's still specking to his wrestling persona and like the music, his walkout music starts playing.
Exactly.
Dun, 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 dun.
Greatest movie of all time.
Salute.
Like he literally like him and The Rock like tag out. They literally tag out. That would be fucking awesome.
God, yeah, it's almost amazing that I'm saying, and this kind of tells me a little bit about like where the franchise is at. That we're like, yeah, kill off the main cast and just give us the ones that are entertaining to watch and understand what this fucking franchise is.
That's what Hobbs and Shaw was. It was the funny, cool characters like Statham and The Rock understand that this is ridiculous, and they're having fun with it. So yeah, bring more of that. We want more of that. Before we take off here, Fast 10, whatever you want to say, is currently sitting at a 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So everyone's pretty it's pretty hated. Everyone is pretty much like with us, just a lot less amused. So do with that information what you will.
They're like us, a lot less amused though.
Yeah,
they're actually angry.
They are pretty pissed. Movie tickets are expensive. You're shelling out $20 for a piece of shit. I get it. So next week is gonna see the release of The Little Mermaid and Burt Kreischer's The Machine.
Machine. Yeah, say like he does in the special.
The Machine. That's gonna be one of the most insane movies. I'm so excited. We're probably gonna do something for The Machine. We're not doing anything for The Little Mermaid because I'm pretty alone on that one. I get it.
My girlfriend didn't join me for Fast 10, so she's like, I don't see a Little Mermaid. I'm like, you didn't watch Fast 10 with me, so have fun.
I feel like that could blow up in your face. I feel like you're seeing Little Mermaid.
I'm not seeing Little Mermaid.
All right, you let me know how that goes.
She's already said she's seeing it alone, so unless something happens between now and then, she's seeing it alone.
Sure. Well, that is
the Machine.
Yeah, so we'll probably have something for The Machine. more stuff for you on Monday. Wednesday, whenever we feel like doing it. Monday's the real day. Wednesday's the kind of bonus day. You get it. So take it easy. Go see Fast X if you haven't seen it already, or don't. Really, I don't care. You could probably just look up the highlights or just listen to us. We could pretty much cover the highlights.
Watch
So
all clips with Jason Momoa, and you'll be fine.
yeah, you could trim this thing down to about 10 minutes and get the highlights, which is kind of sad.
Yes.
Take it easy. Keep watching movies. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.